What if I told you that one small food, something that easily fits in the palm of your hand and costs less than a cup of coffee, could help support your memory while you sleep? It sounds almost too simple to believe, especially when so many people think better brain health must come from expensive supplements or prescription medications. But sometimes the most powerful habits are also the simplest. I'm Dr. Sophia, and after spending years working with adults over the age of 60, I've learned that protecting your memory isn't only about avoiding disease. It's about giving your brain the nutrients and conditions it needs to perform at its best every single day. Tonight, I want to share one bedtime habit that has become one of my favorite recommendations for patients who tell me they're becoming more forgetful. Maybe you've walked into a room and forgotten why you were there. Maybe someone's name suddenly disappears from your mind, even though you've known them for years. Perhaps you've misplaced your car keys for the third time this week, or found yourself repeating the same question during a conversation. Many people immediately fear Alzheimer's disease when these things happen, but memory changes don't always mean dementia. Sometimes they're your brain's early signal that it needs better support. Stay with me until the end because I'll explain 3 important things. First, what simple food to chew before bedtime. Second, why eating it at night makes such a difference. And third, the 3 common bedtime habits that can completely cancel its potential benefits without most people ever realizing it. Before we continue, I need to share something important. According to major public health organizations, millions of older adults experience some degree of age-related cognitive decline. In the United States alone, memory problems affect countless families every year, and the earliest warning signs are often ignored because they're mistaken for normal aging. But forgetting where you placed your glasses every now and then isn't the whole story. When forgetfulness becomes more frequent, when conversations become harder to follow, or when familiar tasks suddenly feel confusing, your brain may be asking for attention long before a diagnosis is ever made. The encouraging news is that the brain remains remarkably adaptable throughout life. While no single food can cure Alzheimer's disease or reverse advanced dementia, healthy nutrition, quality sleep, and consistent daily habits can play an important role in supporting cognitive health as we age. Not long ago, I met a patient I'll call Mrs. Linda, a retired elementary school teacher in her late 60s. She arrived with her daughter, who quietly explained that her mother had started asking the same questions several times in one afternoon. Mrs. Linda looked embarrassed more than frightened. She told me she no longer trusted her own memory. During her evaluation, her thinking skills were still within the expected range for her age, but they were clearly beginning to slow. Her blood work also revealed several common findings that I see again and again in older adults: low vitamin D levels, low omega-3 intake, and higher levels of inflammation than we'd like to see. Instead of immediately focusing on medication, we talked about improving the foundation of brain health first. I asked her to begin one very simple nighttime habit for the next 10 days. The recommendation surprised her because it involved something she already had sitting in her kitchen cabinet. The answer was walnuts. Yes, ordinary walnuts. The same inexpensive walnuts you can buy at almost any grocery store in the United States. Many people think of them as nothing more than a snack, but they're actually one of the most nutrient-dense foods for supporting healthy brain function. There's a reason researchers have spent years studying them. Walnuts naturally provide compounds that help nourish the brain while supporting healthy sleep and reducing oxidative stress. Their shape even resembles the human brain, something people noticed centuries ago. While that similarity is only symbolic, modern nutritional science has uncovered several fascinating reasons why walnuts deserve a place in a healthy diet, especially for older adults who want to protect their memory. Over the next few minutes, I'll explain the 3 major mechanisms scientists have identified, and the first one begins with something your brain depends on every single night, but many people unknowingly disrupt: healthy, restorative sleep. The first reason walnuts have attracted so much attention from researchers has to do with sleep, specifically deep sleep. Many people think sleep is simply a time when the body rests, but your brain is actually incredibly busy throughout the night. While you're sleeping, it sorts through everything you experience during the day. Important memories are strengthened, unnecessary information is discarded, and countless connections between brain cells are reinforced. Think of it as your brain organizing a massive filing cabinet every single night. When that process is interrupted, memories become harder to retrieve the next day. That's one reason you may recognize a familiar face but struggle to remember the person's name, or forget why you walked into the kitchen just moments earlier. According to the source script, walnuts are one of the few natural foods that contain melatonin, the hormone closely associated with regulating the sleep-wake cycle. The script also describes research in which participants experienced a significant rise in melatonin levels after eating walnuts, suggesting that this nighttime habit may better align with the brain's natural overnight processes. Whether or not you notice the effects immediately, consistently supporting healthy sleep gives your brain the opportunity to perform one of its most important jobs, protecting and organizing your memories. That's why the timing matters. Eating walnuts before bedtime isn't simply about having a healthy snack. It's about providing your body with nutrients when your brain is preparing for its nightly maintenance routine. If poor sleep has become part of your life, your memory may be paying the price long before you realize what's happening. The second mechanism described in the source focuses on omega-3 fats. Walnuts contain alpha-linolenic acid, commonly called ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that the body can partially convert into DHA. According to the script, DHA is an essential structural component of the brain and plays an important role in communication between nerve cells. As people grow older, those communication pathways may become less efficient, contributing to slower thinking and increased forgetfulness. The source also references research in older adults reporting improvements in reasoning and short-term memory among participants who consumed walnuts regularly. Imagine your brain as a city filled with millions of roads connecting one neighborhood to another. Every thought, memory, conversation, and decision depends on traffic flowing smoothly across those roads. When the roads begin to deteriorate, information takes longer to travel. That's often how everyday forgetfulness feels. You know the answer is somewhere in your mind, but it simply takes longer to find. Supporting your brain with healthy fats is one part of maintaining those communication networks as you age. This is also why nutrition alone is never the entire answer. Staying physically active, keeping your mind engaged through reading or learning, maintaining healthy blood pressure, and getting quality sleep all work together with good nutrition to support long-term cognitive health. Walnuts become one piece of a much larger picture, but they happen to be an easy piece that almost anyone can add to their evening routine. There's another reason this bedtime habit may be more powerful than people expect, and it has nothing to do with vitamins or fats alone. It involves natural compounds that may help support the brain's overnight maintenance process while you sleep. Just as important, the source explains that how you eat the walnuts matters almost as much as when you eat them. Simply swallowing them quickly isn't the recommendation. There's a reason slow chewing becomes part of the routine, and in the next section, I'll explain why that small detail, along with 3 surprisingly common bedtime mistakes, may determine whether this habit provides its greatest potential benefit. The third mechanism described in the source script centers on powerful natural compounds called polyphenols. According to the script, walnuts contain elagitannins, which are transformed by the gut into a compound called urolithin A. The source explains that researchers have investigated this compound because of its potential role in supporting healthy brain cells and helping remove damaged cellular material that naturally accumulates with age. It compares this process to a cleanup crew working overnight, clearing away unnecessary waste so healthier connections between brain cells can function more efficiently. Whether you imagine it as housekeeping or routine maintenance, the message is the same. Your brain performs some of its most important work while you sleep. That's also why the source emphasizes that timing matters. Eating walnuts during the day may still provide valuable nutrients, but having them before bedtime aligns those nutrients with the hours when your brain is naturally focused on recovery and memory consolidation. Another interesting point mentioned in the script is that chewing itself may play a role. It references research suggesting that slow, thorough chewing increases blood flow to areas of the brain involved in memory, which is why the recommendation isn't simply to swallow walnuts quickly, but to chew them carefully and mindfully. The suggested routine is surprisingly simple. About 4 to 6 walnut halves, eaten 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime, chewed slowly, followed by a glass of water before going to sleep. It's inexpensive, easy to follow, and doesn't require complicated preparation. Of course, no single food is a magic solution, but building consistent healthy habits often produces benefits that become noticeable over weeks and months rather than overnight. The source also warns about 3 common bedtime habits that may reduce the potential benefits of this routine. The first is eating sugary snacks immediately afterward. According to the script, consuming cookies, candy, sweetened milk, or other sugary desserts before bed may work against the healthy nighttime environment your brain needs. Instead, if you want something sweet, the source suggests choosing naturally lower sugar fruits. The second habit is prolonged exposure to bright screens before sleep. Phones, tablets, and televisions can delay the body's natural preparation for sleep, making it harder to enter the deep, restorative stages that are so important for memory. The recommendation is to reduce screen exposure after eating the walnuts, or even better, spend the final part of the evening reading a book, listening to relaxing music, or enjoying a quiet conversation. Finally, the script discusses alcohol before bedtime. It explains that while a glass of wine may seem relaxing, drinking too close to bedtime can interfere with deep sleep, reducing the overnight processes the brain relies on for memory and recovery. Together, these three habits illustrate an important principle. Healthy nutrition works best when it's combined with healthy sleep habits. The food alone isn't the entire strategy. Your overall nighttime routine matters just as much. The story in the source concludes with the return of the patient, Mrs. Linda, after following this bedtime routine. According to the script, she reported feeling mentally sharper, remembering conversations more easily, and noticing improvements in day-to-day memory over the following days. The source presents this as a personal patient story, while also emphasizing that walnuts are not a cure for Alzheimer's disease or advanced dementia, and should never replace appropriate medical care. Instead, they are described as one simple habit that may support overall brain health when combined with good sleep, balanced nutrition, and other healthy lifestyle choices. And that's perhaps the most encouraging message of all. Growing older doesn't automatically mean giving up on your memory. Every healthy choice you make today, whether it's nourishing your body with wholesome foods, staying physically active, challenging your mind, or protecting your sleep, is an investment in your future brain health. If adding a handful of walnuts before bed encourages a healthier nighttime routine, it may become one small step toward supporting clearer thinking and greater confidence as the years go by. Remember, lasting health is rarely built on dramatic changes. More often, it's created through simple habits practiced consistently over time. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me. I'm Dr. Sophia, and I'll see you again in the next video, where we'll continue exploring practical, science-informed ways to help you stay healthy, independent, and mentally sharp for many years to come.